afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Katie, for that introduction. Thank you all for being here to support Go Red for Women. For me, Columbus is home. I went to undergrad here at the Ohio State University. I followed up with law school at Moritz, and I started my career as an attorney here. And while my family has moved from Ohio, I always come back, especially for football. It's an honor for me to come home to speak with all of you today. I attended a Go Red for Women lunch many years ago, and there I learned that heart disease is the #1 killer of women. I also learned that heart disease and its two biggest risk factors, hypertension and diabetes, are often referred to as silent killers. That is because these conditions can cause permanent damage before any symptoms show up. Yet the term silent killer surprised me. In my family, our hearts were never silent. My maternal grandfather had essential hypertension, which led to heart failure, and he died when he was 53. My paternal grandmother died of heart disease at the age of 55. My dad believes her condition was worsened after menopause because she no longer benefited from the protective effects of estrogen. I never had the chance to meet them. However, some of my earliest memories include my relatives from India coming to America for heart surgery. My maternal grandmother arrived in 1984 for bypass surgery when I was 5. My uncle followed with coronary artery disease in 1985. As he recovered from surgery, he would pick up candy for me anytime he went out of the house. So at the age of 6, he was obviously my favorite human in the world. He died just 5 years later in 1989 at the age of 55. It was my first experience with loss. Given her family history, my mom began getting preventative cardiac care early on. I remember feeling confused and nervous on the day of her first cardiac cath. As I grew up, I learned to list diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease when giving my family history to doctors, and to note that these conditions existed on both sides of my family. Our hearts were not silent. They were actually kind of loud, and it's taken a career in healthcare to fully understand why. I've learned that our health is determined by more than our ability to access healthcare. This includes where we live, what we eat, and how we move. Our race and ethnicity also plays a role. South Asians like me have a 4-fold greater risk of developing heart disease. We also have a higher risk of developing the disease at a younger age. In my community, 50% of heart attacks occur under the age of 50. And we aren't alone. Black, Latino, and Indigenous people carry a heavier burden when it comes to heart disease. Gender also plays a role. Heart disease unfairly targets women, and the risk extends across our lives. For example, heart disease is the #1 killer of new moms, and conditions like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes during pregnancy increase our risk in the short term and later in life. Hormonal changes related to menopause also impact our hearts, and women are at greater risk for heart disease and stroke following menopause. Now let me share 3 hard truths about women's health. First, women's health is under-researched. For far too long, the male body was the default standard. Women still remain underrepresented in clinical trials. But here's the reality. Women are not small men. We have biological differences at the molecular and cellular levels, and science must consider the impact that has on prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of disease. Second, women's health is underfunded. Globally, only 1% of dollars invested in research are for women-specific conditions. And as others have mentioned, less than 2% of healthcare venture funding went to women's health in 2023. Third, women's health is misunderstood. There is still so much we don't know. One thing we do know, though, is that women don't always get the care they need when they need it. Let me give you an example. Heart attacks appear differently in women. While chest pain is the leading symptom, just like for men, women are more likely to experience upper back pressure, dizziness, lightheadedness, fainting, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, and jaw pain when having a heart attack. Women often chalk these symptoms up to things like acid reflux, the flu, or aging. And clinicians may dismiss them as stress or diagnose them as a panic attack or a virus. The result? Far too many women die of heart attacks. And unfortunately, it's not just our hearts that are misunderstood. Women are twice as likely to be diagnosed with depression. We are more likely to experience the symptoms of stress. Shocking, right? How many of you feel that? Women account for 80% of people living with autoimmune diseases. 2 out of 3 individuals with Alzheimer's disease are women, and we don't know why. The statistics are not on our side, but we have seen incredible progress on women's health. The focus on research is increasing, with the American Heart Association leading the way. Go Red for Women is funding research that addresses the unique risk factors and needs of women related to heart health and beyond. Research Goes Red calls upon women across the country to contribute to clinical research. Startups that are led by women who are scientists and clinicians are getting in the research game too. For example, one company has developed a Bluetooth-enabled blood pressure monitor that provides digital coaching to help women reduce their risk for heart attacks and strokes. Another has developed a bra designed to track data about the wearer's heart, lungs, hormones, and metabolism. Both accelerate the collection of data that will drive new therapies and care models for women with heart disease. Investment in women's health is also increasing. Funds like the Go Red for Women Venture Fund will allow that growth to continue. By investing across the spectrum of cardiovascular health, brain health, and related conditions, the fund will improve women's health at every age, stage, and season of life. Hospitals are also taking action. Here in Columbus, Ohio Health broke ground on a comprehensive women's center that will offer everything from maternity care to midlife and bone health services. It will bring together the right care teams to address the changing needs of women across their lives. The Ohio State University College of Medicine established the Sarah Ross Soter Women's Health Research Program, which will focus on finding new therapies to prevent and treat diseases that disproportionately affect women. Mount Carmel Health System launched a women's heart health program that proactively manages aspects of heart health that are unique to women. Physicians are also redesigning preventative heart care. Physicians at Wexner Medical Center are helping patients understand how wearable devices, including Apple Watches, Fitbits, Oura Rings, and more, can help them detect heart-related conditions sooner. I spoke with a physician who has developed a virtual care model that provides women with preventative heart care and a community to support them, all through Zoom. Another physician has designed an app that assesses heart disease risk and gives women the tools they need to ensure that they can do everything in their power to prevent heart disease. Incredible, right? And all of this is fueled by a recognition that when we promote the health of women, we not only improve their lives, but we strengthen families and drive economic growth. After all, women are 51% of our population, and they birth 100% of our future. Earlier, I shared that heart disease was not silent in my family. It's thankfully also not the killer it once used to be. My parents went on to become physicians. My dad has shared that watching his mom die so young shaped how he delivered care to patients. My mom has become our family's guide to heart health, here and in India. She's taught us all about the risks we face. She's given us the tools we need to prevent heart disease. She tells us what to eat and how to move. And she helps us understand medications that can be used to treat and control hypertension and diabetes. In my opinion, she's the reason why my family's life expectancy has increased by over 25 years in just one generation. Now, I'm not willing to share my mom with all of you, but I will offer you 2 ways to feel like she is with you on your journey. First, learn more. Heart disease doesn't discriminate. It's not one size fits all. Read the resources that have been created by Go Red for Women. Know your family history. Track your numbers and talk with your physicians. And do all of this, even if you have not felt any symptoms. Second, talk about it. As others have said today, and I will reiterate now, as women, we have the power to support each other. We can help motivate, educate, and inspire each other. Every woman has a story. Maybe she's left the doctor's office with more questions than answers. Or it took her years to find a doctor who would listen, the right specialist, or a treatment that worked. Yet we don't share those stories. We go through them in silence, often alone. It doesn't have to be this way. Just like in my family, heart disease does not have to be a silent killer. We have the power to build communities that lead to better health. So let's do it. Let's go red for women together. Thank you very much.